Hey, you did a great job. Wonderful achievement. No, yaar, I don't think I did great. I don't deserve all this. And this achievement, maybe it was my luck. I don't have that ability or capability to do things. I don't think I'll be able to cope up. I'm such a loser. Look at others, how well they can do. And look at me, I'm just not able to understand things. I don't think I can do it at all. Hi, I'm Sonia Anand, psychologist, and today in this session I'll be talking about the toxic shame that many people have around us. This kind of shame is there in adults as well as in children. You must have heard such statements from maybe your family members or from your friends or from your close one or sometimes from children as well. Today I will specifically be talking about shame in children. Now, shame is what? Shame is just an emotion, just like other emotions, like fear, like anger, jealousy. We all human beings, we do have negative emotions along with the positive one. That's very natural. So, shame is one of the negative emotion that human beings do have. It is absolutely alright to have a bit of shame, and it is necessary for our survival as well, because we stay in a very structured society, in a very civilized society where a bit of shame is required as well. But if it crosses a boundary, if it is more than what is required, then it can destroy or even ruin your life. And how it can become toxic in your life, it is very important to know. So especially this is for the parents, because I'm going to talk about the children in this session. So dear parents, please listen to this very carefully, that what is this shame and how it is inculcated in small children. First, let's start about toxic shame. So we'll first talk about toxic shame. What exactly toxic shame? So many a times parents say a lot of things to children. More than what parents are saying to the children, it is how the child is interpreting the same thing, how the child understands your statements and how they interpret or understand that statement. That is very, very important. So children who have this toxic shame, they will have some certain thoughts running in their mind, and these thoughts would be, I'm useless, I'm worthless, I can't do anything, I'm good at nothing, all bad things happen with me, I am just not good for anything at all, I can't make other people happy. So these kind of thoughts when it comes to a child's mind, this is a toxic shame that he's having. So this toxic shame that a child has, the child starts hating themselves. It is not that they will start hating the person who is telling them. For example, father says, you're such a useless child, you don't know anything, what have you done, why did you break all these things, you are so worthless, you could not score these many marks. So the child, when he hears all that, it is not that he will start hating the father. No, he will start hating himself. He will himself take the shame and start thinking that I am so useless, I am so worthless, I can't make my dad happy, I am a bad child. So they start hating themselves. That is what toxic shame is. This kind of toxic shame usually starts with the parents. So when a child makes a mistake, children do make mistakes all the time. They are so small, their brain is so underdeveloped, and they're likely to make mistakes, and this is a part of their childhood. So when they do something wrong or they make a mistake, rather than disciplining the child, rather than telling them what bad action they have done, the parents start attacking the child directly. Rather than telling them that you should not be playing ball inside the house, so you are trying to discipline them, right? But instead of telling them, giving them the instructions, we start labeling them. You are such a duffer, you are such a useless creature, what are you doing, you have absolutely no sense, look at your brain, you have no brains, what have you done? These kind of statements, these kind of heavy words and statements are used for a small kid, and I have heard this quite many times from many parents. Statements like, I don't understand, why did I give birth to you, you keep hitting your sister all the time, you have absolutely no sense, you're such a nonsense creature, and things like that. When the parent attacks the character of the child and not the task, so the parent is not telling that the task that you have done was wrong, you shouldn't have done this, okay, this should not be done and this should be done, the do's and don'ts of the task. When we are not talking about all this and we are directly attacking the character of the child, that you are foolish, you are stupid, you are worthless, From there only this toxic shame starts to come in. So when these type of toxic statements are being used for the child is so small and their brain is so underdeveloped, they can't interpret what you are saying exactly. So they go by your words, your statements. They will not understand that I have done this task wrong, or this I should not have done this task, or hitting or abusing or breaking things is bad. I should not have been playing with the ball inside the house. So they would not understand. What they will take from your statement word by word is that, yes, I am stupid, I am worthless, I am useless. So when you label the child takes that label onto themselves. This toxic shame is so bad, it can literally destroy your child's life in a way that the child starts feeling scared all the time. They are so scared of making a mistake. I mean, we all make mistakes and we always learn from our mistakes, don't we? We understand that sometimes making mistakes only make us learn so much more than the achievement. It is the mistakes that we learn from. But the child is now scared of exploring. Their curiosity level goes down because they don't want to make mistake. Because they know, if I make mistake, I'll be like bursted upon by my parents, and my parents are going to yell and shout at me. I'll be scolded by my parents. So they get so scared that they altogether, the creativity and exploration goes down. Then you as parents start poking the child. Look at other kids, they're so creative. Why don't you try something new? Why don't you, explore new things around you? Why are you so fussy? Why are you being so cringy? So we start, poking our kids so much without realizing that it is because of our fear that the child has stopped exploring. They have stopped becoming so curious because now they are scared that if they make a mistake, they will be scolded by you. And on top of that, the child's self-esteem, self-confidence, everything just crashes. Because now they start thinking that I can't do anything. I don't deserve good things. I can't do good things. I am useless. So I can't do anything at all. Or I don't deserve good things at all. So the toxic shame starts to inculcate in a child from the very early age when the parents start using such kind of statements. And not just their self-esteem and self-confidence, even their social skills and social development gets hindered, because when these children grow up a bit and when they start to socialize, they limit themselves. They don't want to open up with other people because they have this kind of toxic shame inside them, and they think that if I'll talk to other people around, maybe they will judge me. Maybe what if they think about me? I don't know what they will think about me, or what if they laugh at me. So they don't want to make a mistake. What if I say something, blurt out something in front of them, and maybe I will, bring my family name down. So thinking all these things, they limit themselves so much and they are not able to open up at the time of socializing. And finally, this can also, if done to a large extent, this can also lead to social anxiety, which can be very, very bad. Nowadays, we are talking so much about self-love, that it is very, very important to love yourself, to accept yourself, to accept the way you are. But a child who has gone through toxic shame during their childhood, how can that person go for self-love or accept themselves the way they are? They cannot, because that toxic shame is inside them, and gradually over a period of time they stop loving themselves. They become self-critical. They start judging themselves. They don't like their body. It might lead to body dysmorphic disorder. They might start hating themselves. They might think that whatever bad is happening, it is because of them, and they are definitely not capable of starting anything new or doing something good. So it depends upon degree to degree, of course, but this toxic shame can actually destroy the personality and the character of a child. So there are two ways in which a child can grow. A child who has toxic shame, they can grow either to highly self-critic or a perfectionist. So maybe they will keep criticizing them all the time that they are not good, they are useless, they are worthless, and they will not open up in life ever. Or they become a perfectionist. They are so scared of making a mistake that they want everything to be perfect. There should not be any kind of glitch or any kind of mistake done by them. So they become very perfectionist. which of course to some extent obviously is good, but then most of the children, we can't say how the child is going to be, but most of the time these toxic shame can lead to the first one, that is self-critic. Toxic shaming is done to a very large extent, or maybe when the child is very sensitive by nature, naturally, it might lead to sometimes suicidal thoughts or self-harm. Some children become so depressed after all that they start doing self-harm, like cutting their skin or harming themselves in any way, because they think that they are not good kids at all and they're bringing down their family's name. So they start doing all these things, which is done usually in rare cases, but of course this is one of the results of toxic shame. Many patients who come for counseling, especially for complex PTSD, even there some part of toxic shame is involved when we do CBT, when we are doing a counseling therapy. That time we realize that even toxic shame has been a part of their childhood. Sometimes parents not only criticize the child, they also start criticizing the child in front of the other people, in front of guests. When guests come in, the mother starts telling, my child, oh my god, he doesn't listen to me at all, he's so useless, he's so dirty, he keeps his room dirty. And the child is listening to you that time. So child is listening that my mother and my father are continuously telling all bad things about me, I'm being judged, and they're telling the third person about me, it is even worse. So what happens over a period of time, the child is not able to process that or regulate his emotions effectively. Over a period of time, eventually some kind of mental problems, some disorders, or maybe some mental health problems start to seep in, and they might get a target of that. Another way of toxic shame by parents towards children is constant comparison of the children with other. We are constantly comparing. Look at her, how she is doing, and look at you, what you are doing. Look at your sister, how well she studies, and look at you, what are your marks. Look at the neighbor, look at the cousin. So keep looking around you. So the parent tells the child that keep looking at others, what others are doing, and look at you, how pathetic you are. So this constant comparison is one of the ways of toxic shame in the child. Why parents do this? Parents think that if I'll compare my child, that your sister is doing so well, you are not doing, the child will think, oh, my sister is doing well, I will also become like her. So he will start studying. Or if I say, look at the other friend of yours, he's so disciplined, and look at you, you don't even clean your almirah or your room. The child thinks, okay, you think that child might think that, okay, my friend is very disciplined, even I'll become like that. No, it doesn't happen like that. The child, after comparison, they will not change themselves, they will not improve themselves. On the other hand, quite the opposite, they are going to either start hating that person with whom you are comparing, or they will start feeling that I am the useless one. There is one very pathetic way of toxic shaming that I have seen in some families, when the child has brought in bad marks in school. I mean, everybody is not a topper, obviously. So there are some students, they're not good at studies, maybe they're good at something else, but anyways, that's altogether a different topic. So if they have brought in bad marks, instead of talking to your child about it or improving their scores, the parents, when the guests come in front of them, the parents are like, they start taunting their child. They pass on sarcasm. Oh, come, my dear prince. Why don't you show your marks to the guest? What all you have got from the school. Amazing marks he has got, that. So this kind of sarcasm and taunt, you're literally dragging your child down in front of the guest, in front of the third person. You are shaming your child, and this can be very toxic for the child. And what is the reaction of that child? The reaction of the child is that, God, just make me disappear, just vanish me somewhere. I should just sink in this earth, and if somebody comes in, I just can't tolerate if somebody is coming to our house, because my parents are all again going to start the same thing again and again. So they just want to hide their face somewhere, because they can't tolerate that kind of sarcasm and taunting from the parents in front of the third person. And sometimes this shaming is also done in front of their own friends. When the friends come in, parents start to say that you also do the same thing. Look at her, she always talks back like this. she doesn't listen to me, she gets bad marks, you also don't study just like her. So you are doing what in front of their peer group? You are ruining their image, you are destroying their confidence altogether. In this scenario, the child feels extreme shame, and this is what brings in the toxic. There is one more way of toxic shaming, when the parents start negotiating the child that I will love you on so and so conditions. So they put in the conditions for the love. For example, they say, only if you get good marks, I'm going to hug you. Only if you will do this task, I'm going to love you. If you will not behave properly, I'm not going to love you or hug you. So these kind of negotiation in giving love to your child, putting in these conditions, also brings in toxic shame in the child. So what happens, how the child interprets it? Now you are just saying, maybe for the sake of it or for whatsoever reason, that maybe your child will start achieving or start doing the task. You think, if I will say this for my love, the child will start doing the task very nicely. So you think like that, but how the child is interpreting? The child is interpreting that only if I do the task, I deserve love. Otherwise, I am not worthy of love. I do not deserve love. So when these children grow up, these children are always wanting to achieve more and more and more, and they achieve a lot just so that they can be loved and accepted, and they are scared of doing a mistake, that if I'll do a mistake, I'll not be loved, I'll not be accepted by other people, or my parents will not love me if I don't do as what they want me to do. I have to fulfill their expectations, otherwise my parents are not going to love me. They do not understand that parents' love has to be unconditional. We don't understand as parents that our love towards the child has to be unconditional, and we cannot put such kind of conditions to the child that only if you do so and so task, I'm going to love you only then. So find good in a way that person starts achieving a lot, very good, that they tend to achieve a lot many things, but along with that achievement comes in insecurities, anxiety, depression, nervousness, all mental health issues start to come in, which is obviously not good at all. So this was all about toxic shame, where it starts, who starts it, how it gets inculcated, and what all it can lead to. So I hope you have understood what toxic shame is. Now let's understand what is healthy shame, so that we can do the same for our children. Now, what is healthy shaming? When the child has done something wrong, when they have done a mistake, you should always pinpoint the mistake and not attack the child. Like for example, if the child has lied, okay, now tell the child, healthy shaming is tell the child that, see, lying is bad. If you will start lying, people will not trust you anymore. So do not lie. It is you are deceiving people, which is not a good thing. It is not going to help you in future. So tell that the task that you have done is wrong and you should not be doing it anymore. Rather than saying, you are a liar, you always lie, you cannot be trusted. So rather than this toxic shaming, healthy shaming can be that the task that you did was bad. The child will feel shame that what I have done is wrong, but they will understand that I am not bad, the task was bad. And along with that whatever task that they have done is wrong, tell them how they can make it right. So you can tell the child that you lied here, you could have spoken the truth, you could have managed the task like this, you could have managed your friend like this by telling them the truth. So this is the way you manage, by telling the truth and not telling by lie. So this, you can say that this is the way you have done a thing that is wrong, and this is how you can make it right. So there is a way of saying where the child does not feel that he is the one who is wrong, but he should know that the task that they have done is the wrong one. So second thing is that when we tell them that how they can manage or how constructively they can change their behavior to bring in the good behavior, in that ways they get a lot of encouragement in doing the new ways, trying the new ways. You can tell the child that the task that you have done is not right, you should not be doing this, instead you should be helping, instead you should be doing so and so thing. thing. So when we tell them the right ways of doing that, they get a lot of encouragement, and they feel that, okay, if I will do the right task, my parents will be very happy, which is absolutely okay. So they are encouraged to do the right task, which bring in a lot of happiness and a lot of high confidence and self-esteem in them. So the third thing is of healthy shaming is that when children are shamed healthily, when healthy shame is there and not toxic shame, these children are able to judge what is right and what is wrong. They understand when they grow up as an adult, they don't think that I am worthless or I am useless or I am good for nothing. No, they think that this behavior is not correct, and if I do this behavior, the other person is going to feel bad, or how my bad behavior can have the consequences on other people, how it can bring in shame or bad consequences to other people. So they know that what kind of behavior is bad and what kind of behavior is good. It is not that they are good or bad, it is the behavior that is good or bad. So this kind of healthy shame is good, and it is essential also. It is important. They should know that what tasks or what kind of behavior is right and what kind of behavior is wrong, how they are harming others or how they can help others. So this is the main difference between toxic shame and healthy shame, that what should be your statements when coming out of your mouth, and how the child interprets those statements, and how when they grow up are able to think about themselves as a person. Now, obviously, discipline is very important. We all want to discipline our children, and it is very important to discipline them. It is a good thing. Nobody wants or nobody likes an indisciplined child. So, parents who have been doing toxic shaming till now, maybe unconsciously or without any deliberately, they have been doing this thing. And now if you have understood that whatever I've been saying to my child was toxic shaming, and if you want to change yourselves, you can still do that. So you can try to change the child's behavior by changing your own behavior, changing your own statements and the way you speak to your child. If you have been doing toxic shaming, it is okay if you understand, and if you stop right away, start doing by pinpointing the wrong tasks rather than saying that you are wrong. So don't use the word you are like this or you are like that. So we can still change that. And when we tell them that this task is wrong, along with that, it is also very important that constantly we tell them what right things that they do. So what are the tasks that they do beautifully, they do constructively, they do rightly. Praise them. Tell them about their potential, that your art is amazing, that the way you built up the blocks, that is so good, that is so creative, or you found this thing for me, you are so intelligent. So praise them, whatever potential that they have, you need to build that up more and more. So along with the criticism, we have to do this as well. If you are feeling guilty that I have been toxic shaming my child till now, and not deliberately but unintentionally, if you have been doing that, it's okay. The child is very, very, like a wet molded clay. You can still remold the clay you want to. You can overwrite that CD again, because the child is able to change at this stage. So you can do what? Tell them to self-love. Give them the task for self-love. You have to teach them about self-love. If the child already has this kind of shame that I am useless, I am worthless, I'm good for nothing, I don't like myself, no, tell them that it is not his fault and teach them self-love. How you can do this? Tell them to write nice letters to themselves. Tell them, okay, tell me some good points about you. What is great about you? Tell me your strengths. So they will speak, they will start speaking good things about themselves. They will introspect, think, and when they speak loudly, it really has an effect on their mind. You can tell them what are good things about themselves. You can tell them that you stand in front of the mirror and see that, what all good things do you have. Appreciate that. Praise yourself. So these are the ways you can rewrite this CD, overwrite the CD, and change the molding of the child, because it's never too late to to understand, so parents can understand this and start reworking on their children. So these are the things that we can bring in the child, we can change the child, we can work on their subconscious mind, we can reprogram our children, and we can reprogram ourselves as well. It's never too late, thanks to neuroplasticity and the ever changing human brain. So we can definitely work on our children always. Please start doing this. Focus on healthy shaming and not on toxic shaming. I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you liked my video, please subscribe to my channel and learn more about child psychology.